Hey guys, Ash here, Race Out Legends. Welcome to the video. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. Today, I want to go through all of the rare relics that I would hold on to versus all of the rare relics out there that I would absolutely just trash, aka use as fodder to upgrade other relics that are more powerful on your account. It struck me, we had a meeting with Plarium developers and talking mainly about the roadmap ahead, what to expect from Raid, Faction Wars, and the big update towards the end of the year, but also some pain points, how do they look at the silver, the economy, stuff like that, the relic economy. And one of the kind of throwaway lines, at least, we didn't spend a lot of time on it, was one of the lead developers was like, we are really shocked at how much hoarding people do of not so good relics, right? And it struck me, maybe making a video talking about the rare relics that I would not keep might be a valuable video, because honestly, even that one throwaway comment even made me think about me and my account, right? About like, ooh, am I hoarding a little bit? And truthfully, there's some reasons that you would hoard relics, right? I mean, one of the big reasons is the cost to move them around makes it so prohibitive to move them at all, the star stones, just to unequip and to re-equip, especially the higher you get level rarity. It's such an arduous process that I try to avoid it. Thus, I find myself using crappy relics just for stat boosts, right? On HP-based damage dealers, defense-based damage dealers, attack-based damage dealers, or when I need the accuracy or whatever it may be. I just use it for the stats, So that's the reason that I hoard. But even with that said, I actually found myself upgrading some more fodder, sacrificial relics to upgrade other ones more after that conversation. So let's go through what is worth keeping here. I want to say out the gate, and this is important, instead of mentioning it on every single relic, I would recommend holding on to at least one copy of every relic in the game. Maybe it's because the collector in me, maybe, but I think that it's, you never know when they're going to balance or buff relics. I do expect them to do that at some point. They haven't shown their propensity to dive in and balance relics at all as of right now. But, you never want to have had a relic that they buff, if they ever do, and be like, oh, crap, I just crunched a million of them. Beyond that, there's a bunch of niche relics, right? Like, for example, Mask of Rage, where it receives 5% less damage from enemies under a provoke. I like to keep maybe a few of these, right? It's not a great relic. It's actually a pretty bad relic, but it is useful on a provoker when you don't have a better option, because let's face it, our legendary and our good epic relics and our good rare relics, to be fair, right? Or mythicals, if you have any, right? We can't put them on all of our champions, and we're not going to move them around. So I do find myself using these rares, not just for the stats, but sometimes even for the utility. Yeah, I'll throw it on a Krisk or somebody like that, because why not, So those are the points I want to say out the video. The ones that I say are trash and worth using to sacrifice fodder, I'd still hold on to a copy or two of them before I started sacrificing them. All right, with that out of the way, Unholy Grail. Wearer deals 2% more damage if under any debuffs. Trash. It's a really bad one. You don't really plan on having any debuffs. There's some points in the game, areas of the game, where it's inevitable. You can't resist it. Nether Spider comes to mind, right? Even then, though, I mean, even at full level, which no one is fully maxing on Unholy Grail, it's not even the weak version of a Strengthen, the equivalent of what it brings. The best thing about it is the attack stat, so trash it or use it as fodder. Mask of Rage, we just talked about it, kind of the same thing. A little bit more utility, but it is still very, very niche on provokers, right? Otherwise, you're just getting the stats. I'm going to stop saying that you're getting the stats. You guys know that sometimes trashy relics you can throw on a champion just for the extra stats, because they can be very significant, especially that first stat, right? Journal of Necrodos. Nah, I would keep 1 million journals. Not 1 million, but maybe 8 until I even considered starting to sacrifice them, right? Eventually, you're going to get to a point where, you'll have a lot equipped. You're not going to want to unequip them anyway, and it's great. Any healer or turn meter increased champion, fantastic, especially if they do both, right? Maybe a Siphi or a Senna Amberheart come to mind, There's a lot of options there, White Queen and Korra. Anybody who has that turn meter boost, it's fantastic, or the heals, right? It's fantastic. So definitely want to hold on to a bunch of those. One of the better rare relics in the game. Rod of Blasphemy, where it receives 2% less damage if under any debuffs, right? Well, Deal more damage and receive less damage. Everything I said about the Unholy Grail also applies to the Rod of Blasphemy. Pretty trashy. Use it as fodder. All right, Chimera group. We have the Malefic Talon. Where has a 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. You can actually get that up pretty easily to like a 30-35% chance of it dealing 10% more damage. 10% doesn't sound like much, but on champions that hit really hard, it can be very significant when it does proc. Moreover, that you get that crit damage too. So I actually like the Malefic Talon. I would not crunch it unless I had quite a few copies already on my account. I sometimes struggle to find viable rare relics on my damage dealers, and this is very nice because it suits attack-based damage dealers, defense, and HP with being the second stat. Diadem of Undeath. This gives defense HP, whereas defense increases by 1% for each ally under ally protection buffs placed by them. It's kind of meh. Kind of meh. Use it as fodder. Tempus Sanguineus. Whereas turn meter reduction effects are boosted by 15%. This is actually an underrated relic. I would definitely hold on to a few of these. We think, or at least I think a lot about relics in the context of the arena, but you got to think about champions like Allure with this. Super powerful, right? There's a lot of turn meter manipulation, and to get a giant, 21% boost even at level 3 is really significant, right? So it's actually super solid on turn meter reduction champions, especially if they have it on their A1 or something like that. Plus you get more survivability. I would definitely hold on to at least a few copies. Molten Death Bell. I love the Molten Death Bell. First of all, just that, we keep mentioning the stats, but man, getting accuracy as the first stat on a rare relic, it might be the only one. I think it's the only one. Really powerful to get that accuracy. Moreover, so sometimes I'll just use it on champions that need the accuracy, but on a champion like Armand's, a champion like Fabian, fantastic, right? Whereas turn meter increases by 10% when applying a CC debuff. It can only happen once per turn, which is kind of the bummer, but 10% every time we apply is still really solid, especially on a Fabian who puts out fears and true fears like there's no tomorrow. It's almost getting that 10% every turn, right? So really, really solid. All right, event dungeon or event group. So we have Alice had nothing. Man, Alice, they really skipped. Only 2. But on Chaos Awakes, we have 2. We have Tempest Morbidia. Decrease and steel turn meter effects are 15% less effective against the wearer. This is a kind of a fodder one, you really, again, it's hard to plan going in that, we're going to have to deal with a lot of steel turn meter or decreased turn meter. There are some areas in the games where it's applicable, but only mitigating it by, 15 to 21% or maybe 24%. It's just not enough to be a game changer. I would trash them. Sinner's Cloak, where it receives 1% defense for each 15 HP missing. Okay, this is actually a really solid one on tanky champions, right? On your, or tankier, revivers. Really solid because you can book up, or level up, the defense. At level 4, you're getting 4% defense. For each 15% HP missing, stacks up to 75%. So we can get pretty easily like 8% extra defense and the extra HP and defense on the stats too. It's super solid for, again, tankier champions out there. I like it. I'll give it, it's not the best out there, but I would definitely hold on to a few copies for sure, because sometimes it's nice to get that extra survivability out of your tanky champions. You could use it on a defense-based damage dealer as well, I would say, because you're getting the extra defense, thus more damage, as well as defense on the second stat. That's it. Clan group, the Flesh Render. The Flesh Render is kind of trash, where it increases the damage of each hit on their next attack by 3% of any surplus heal when self-healing. It's weird because it starts out so good, where it increases the damage of each hit on their next attack by 3%. Awesome. But then there's all these caveats, right? Culminating in the can't be more than 20,000 damage. So you need a self-healer, and then you get it capped anyway. I mean, it is cool that it's on each hit, but it's not that good. I would use it as fodder. Black Shroud Fan, where it receives 2% less damage now from ally protection effects or buffs placed by them. Keep a couple, put on ally protectors when you don't have a better relic. Other than that, use as fodder. All right, so live arena group, guys. We have the Royal Digit. Royal Digit, we get attack as the main stat, where it has a 20% chance to decrease incoming damage by 10%. I really don't like the stats here. It'd be good on maybe a filler relic for HP-based damage dealer or defense-based damage dealer. We get the attack there. It seems like it wants to go on a tanky champion, but the stats would indicate being on a nuker, but it's damage mitigation. I don't like it. I would use it as fodder. Draught of Ice, or Ire, excuse me. HP is the main stat. Attack is the second stat. Accuracy is the third, as if we can ever get that. Wearer deals 5% more damage when using their default skill when all other skills are on cooldown. No thank you. Use it as fodder. Really trashy relic here. Good for the stat. That's it. When all their skills are on cooldown, obviously by their extra damage on default skill is fantastic, champions like Fenax. But to have every other skill on cooldown, forget about it, right? Or on cooldown. Okay, Faction Wars. We only have two. We have the Arakan Elixir. Wearer's poison debuffs deal bonus damage equal to 50% of the wearer's attack, but we can get that higher pretty quickly, pretty easily. 110% of the wearer's attack, even at level 4. This is one of the best relics in the game. Nishak, Nell, Calvalax, poison damage dealers. It's a lot of damage. It really took poison from being in lethal dose, blessing, from being extinct to being meta inside the arena, which is really, really cool, right? Granted, still countered by Stone Skin, unlike HP Burn. So there's certainly downsides, or I should say, mitigating factors to its effectiveness. But man, oh man, oh man, this really did change the meta. This one relic, it's very, very powerful, specifically in the arena, but very powerful overall. I hold on. I think I've gotten 3 on my account. And I would never, I would probably go till I get about 8, kind of like the journal and stuff. I would hold on to a bunch of these. You really want it on all your poisoners, right? Codex Luminous. This gives HP and defense. Wearer receives 5% less damage from champions that have a different affinity. It's not amazing. I think it's like a C tier, a relic. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Definitely worth holding on to a few of them. This is nice. Again, it would be so much better if these were affordable to move around a little bit more, right? You can scale it up the damage as well, get it to like 8% less damage. It's good when fighting bosses on the bad affinity rotations, right? Just a shame it's difficult to move them. So it's not. The utility isn't that bad, but it's not a huge game changer. Personally, I would hold on to a few and then start trashing them and using to upgrade other relics, using them as fodder. That's it, guys. I actually thought there was a few more rare relics, I guess, abstractly before I record the video, but it's nice to have a short video. Let me know, again, if you want me to go in and talk about all the epics that I would hold on to. There's certainly a lot of new and very interesting and maybe a little complicated, or at least the way that they're worded, epic relics, especially if they've added recently to the live arena and to Faction Wars. So let me know if you want to see an epic relic kind of follow-up video to this one. Either way, thanks for watching until the end of the video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.